Hi folks, Chris Anderson with Mount Comfort RV. We're going to do a video today for the second time. Some of you that follow us on our YouTube channel and everything online know that I promised another high-end diesel video a couple of weeks ago, that it was in editing and we had just shot it and it would be out right away, and there's been a bit of a delay. Well, we got our new microphone in and well, Toney really screwed up the audio is really the only long and short of what happened here, and so we have to shoot the whole video over again, and we had done like an hour-long video, so we have to start over. There will be a punishment for Toney, but we'll get to that later, and we'll get this taken care of. So today we're going to do a 4020 Dutchstar. This is a 2020 model, so a 2020 4020. I think that's right, yeah. And this is a revamped floor plan. Newmar's had this floor plan around for a while. They called it a 4002. They've changed some things to make it a 4020, and we'll go over that. First, like we always do, we like to show you the motorhome with the slide rooms in, so you can see this one's actually as good as they come in today's high-end motorized. If you can walk through it without actually having to turn sideways at any point, man, that's as big as they get anymore. I can easily get into the bathroom, refrigerator, bedroom, lay on the king bed, all that. So the interior and exterior of this coach are the Norfolk designs, if you will, and then this is the sable maple high gloss hardwood that we're using on the cabinet. So that's the specs on this coach, and now you've seen it with the slide rooms in. I'll tell you what, before we put the slide rooms out, we'll punish Toney some more. We're going to make him go for a drive. Let's take this coach for a little bit of a ride. Okay, so very sunny day here. Sorry if there's any reflections off the top of my head or anything, but we do have plenty of brightness up here in the front cabin. We're going to start from the very basics. You have a key. It goes in the ignition. And then one of the things I want to show you, Toney, if you can get the camera up here a little bit, with these new, with diesel engines, they have a preheat. Now the preheat is just the engine warming up so that it will start easier. And that can take anywhere from 5 or 10 seconds to 30 seconds to a minute if it's cold outside. What's 90 degrees outside today, so it's probably not going to take long, but I'll try to show you. It'll actually say right in this area right here, it will say wait to start. So I'm going to turn the key just to the on position. I'm not cranking the engine over at this point. Should light up our Spartan logo because this coach is on a Spartan chassis, and then right there, wait to start. See that? As soon as it goes off, you're safe to go ahead and crank the engine. So now we'll just start it just like any other coach. Now the difference in a diesel and a gas engine, or diesel and a gas motorhome, one of the big differences is you just don't hear the engine at all. I felt the engine, I felt it crank over, I watched my tachometer go up, but I did not hear the engine. I don't hear it now. I can feel a little bit of vibration in the floor, but they're so quiet it's not even funny. So that's the first thing we want to talk about is diesel coaches are much quieter. They also ride better because this is an air ride system. This coach rides on 6 airbags that control your ride and make it nice and floaty, and so you just don't feel the banging of the road like you normally would. A diesel coach, if it hasn't been started in a while, will need to build air. There's air systems involved here. We have air brakes and we have air for those airbags. Well, there's two underneath the floor. There's 2 what we call ping tanks. Just think of a compressor tank. That's really all it is. And the compressor actually runs off of the engine itself. So as soon as you start the engine, it starts building air. You really can't go anywhere with a diesel coach until the air is up. So that's always something you want to be aware of. Our air gauges are these 2 gauges right here. This is our new digital dash. And you want it to be, first of all, it'll beep at you until it gets to about halfway, but you want it to be above about 100, which is where we're at right now before you actually drive the coach. So that's something to be aware of. If you've just driven the coach and you pulled off and stopped for fuel, you get back in, it's not going to lose that air. It does dissipate over time, but it takes some time. But we'll go out there after they've been sitting for a few weeks and they'll be completely out of air. Worst case scenario, you might have to wait 5 minutes before you could drive it. But that's the air system in and of itself. So tilt wheels done with our foot, and it is tilt and telescope, and it'll stop anywhere you want. So you can make the tiniest adjustment, and as soon as you take your foot off that pedal, that's where it is. For safety's sake, we're going to be a good boy and buckle up. Toney might die in a fiery crash, but I'll live. Our comfort drive is already engaged. You can feel that, and comfort drive, folks, we've done other videos on it, but it just makes the touch of your wheel is so light on here. It does the work for you is the biggest thing. Now, transmission's a little different. We have 3 push buttons over here: reverse, neutral, and drive. See if we can get a shot of that, Tony. Down here. And notice there is no park. Well, on a diesel coach, there really is no park setting. You put it in neutral, and then you pop this brake. If this brake is popped out, you're going nowhere. So when we get ready to drive, we just simply put our foot on the brake, push that in, and hit D for drive, and we are ready to go. It's a little warm up here. I'll turn some air on for Tony and myself. There we go. Yeah. And we're going to take this for a little spin. This will just be a short drive. The interstate near us is backed up today, so we're not going to do anything there. But we will take it out just to give you a feel for how easy these coaches drive. Now, this particular one that does have the 360 camera on it, so I can see what's all around me in an overhead shot. It's almost like a drone flying over your head, giving you a view from above. And that's really nice in like what we're doing now, this tight parking lot. Out on the road, I don't know how much you would use the 360 camera. I mean, it will show you your blind spot for sure, but so do your mirrors and your side marker cameras. So there's a lot of ways to see our blind spot these days. So pulling out of Mount Comfort RV, if you do stop by to see us, we do have a KOA right next door. Give them some free advertising. And those are all full hookup spots with lots of pull-throughs, so you can come to shop with us and stay with them. All right, looks like the light is green. We might make it. Now, when you're turning a diesel coach, you don't want to turn as soon as you would your car. Like in my car, I would have already turned. You drive straighter into the intersection, and you try to think of things almost in more 90-degree angles than in cutting the curve off. Cutting the curve off will get you in trouble on a motorhome. We have to get used to the length of the coach, and you could, if there was a car pulled right up to that intersection and I drive it like I drive my car, I'm going to hit them. So you drive deeper into the intersections and then make your turn. Other than that, the only real thing to get used to with a motorhome, I mean, of course you're constantly aware of your height. You're not taking it to parking garages or drive-throughs, but the trickier thing to get used to, in my mind, is your width. Because bottom line, we're a lot wider here than we are in our normal cars and trucks. So when you're driving a good line on a motorhome, you kind of feel like your butt's hanging out over that yellow line. It's not. I can see space between me and the yellow line and space between me and the white line, but you definitely feel like you're closer to that yellow line than normal, and you are. All right, so we'll get up to a little more speed here. One other thing I always like to tell people, and I try to mention this on test drives before we take off, is motorhomes, especially great big 40-foot diesel pushers, this is no place for a late breaker. If you're that person that likes to get to the very end of the lane and then stand on your brakes right before you get to the stoplight, we're going to let Tony do those test drives from now on. You people are killing me. When you see a red light up here like we have now, you want to go ahead and I scrub off like a third of my speed way back here for a couple reasons. Number one, you might get lucky and the light turns green, which it just did. Number two, you got to remember it's all of your canned goods and food and belongings. They're all in these cabinets and in the refrigerator and everything else. If you're not smooth and you're stopping, if you're jamming the brakes on at the last minute, even though you'll get the coach stopped, these coaches will stop pretty quick. Good luck when you get there and you start opening cabinet doors and refrigerators. You're going to be at risk, we'll say. So try to remember to brake as early as possible. Scrub off some of your speed in a motorhome. Now we're running about 50 miles an hour now. Speed limit on this road I think is 55, so we'll get it up to there just to show you how hard it is to drive a 40-foot diesel pusher. You can see I'm fighting the wheel all the way, terribly stressed out. The comfort drive is doing the work here, folks. You drive a Newmar with a thumb and two fingers, and you could do this all day. I'm sitting in a very comfortable flex steel seat, and you know, I could do this all day long, still carry on a conversation with my wife, and have a wonderful time. So again, we're approaching a stoplight up here. I'm going to go ahead and take my foot off the gas now. These do have engine brakes on them as well, so the engine brake, if you take your foot off the gas and the engine brake is on, I'm not touching the brakes. We're slowing down. There's 45, there's 40, have not touched the brakes. The engine is slowing me down. There's 30 miles an hour. Heck, I may have to give it some gas to get to the stoplight. There's 20 miles an hour, but the light's still red, so what am I worried about? That's a nice smooth stop. And that'll save you on your brakes on wear and tear, but more importantly, if you were coming down a mountain, these are big heavy rigs, and they can overspeed on you. They can, you know, if you didn't have an engine brake, you could be riding your brakes going down the hill, which eventually your brakes will heat up and fail. So you don't want to do that. So the engine brakes were created so that you could actually use the engine to hold you back. This particular one is a 3-stage engine brake. You have high, medium, and it was pretty efficient at bringing us to a stop. By the way, when your engine brake is activated and it's working, your brake lights do come on the back of the coach. I get that question from time to time. Hey, do the people behind me know that I'm slowing down? Yeah, absolutely. Your brake lights come on when the engine brake is working. So it lets everybody, they can't tell whether you're using the brake pedal or the engine brake, but they know you're slowing down. Okay, when this light turns green, here we go. I'm stomping it all the way to the floor. The accelerator is on the floor. Something to get used to with diesel pushers, unlike gasoline engines. These are turbocharged engines. Turbochargers have to spool up. They have to get spinning. So when you first take off, you can put it on the floor if you want to. It's not going to do a whole lot. It takes a few seconds for that turbocharger to really start kicking in, and then you feel the torque go to start to work, and it starts to accelerate nicely. But it's always funny. You're not going to do any burnouts in a Dutchstar. I'll save you some time. I like to come down this little road, and we'll get some shots out front here, because this is just a cul-de-sac. Okay, it's not a very big cul-de-sac. The cul-de-sacs in most neighborhoods are bigger than this is, but I want to show you with the independent front suspension and the 60-degree wheel cut that we have on here, and also with the steerable tag axle, just how sharp this coach will turn. But you do have to know how to take the turn. So I'm going to start pushing this to the right a little bit to follow the circle route. Now, if you were in a car, you'd already be turning left. I'm going straight ahead. People get panicky when I make them do this on their own and keep going straight. You don't want to turn yet. One thing we have to remember is there is no nose on this motorhome. The wiper blades stick out as far as anything, so there's no front end like there is on the car. So we can pull it way up here this far before we even start to turn. And a lot of people think, boy, he's going to cream those mailboxes over there. I promise I won't get close to those mailboxes. All right, so now I'm going to crank the wheel all the way. The comfort drive makes that very easy. We're going to miss those mailboxes by about 5 feet. And in this little cul-de-sac, and I don't even have the wheel fully cocked, there's fully cocked. In this little cul-de-sac, we're going to turn this bus around, and Tony, get a shot to the right. Look how much cul-de-sac we had left over. There's 10, 12 feet out there that we didn't use, that we could have, to come around here. That's how sharp this bus will turn. The turning radius on these is amazing. Well, you think, well, you know, why does that matter? It's not like I'm going to be, you know, driving on a racetrack and needing to do some sharp hairpin turns. The toughest places you get into with motorhomes is fuel stations, in my opinion. I never enter a fuel station that I don't have an exit strategy to. In fact, my wife and I understand that, and whoever's driving, when we get off the interstate to get fuel, whoever's driving is looking for the fuel stations, and obviously driving the coach. Whoever the navigator is at that point is making sure we have an exit strategy before we pull in. I don't care about the price of the fuel. A nickel a gallon one way or the other is not going to change my life. But certainly I care about getting out, especially if you have a toad. If you're pulling a toad behind you, you can't back up, you have to remember. So you don't want to get into a situation where you have to back up, because then you're going to do the walk of shame. And the walk of shame is getting out and unhooking your toad in the fuel station, parking the toad, getting the motorhome turned around, hooking the toad back up. It turns into a big debacle. Very avoidable if you just follow one simple rule: do not enter a fuel station that you don't have an exit strategy on. If you've never owned a motorhome before, you'll thank me later for that piece of advice. All right, so now we're heading back to the dealership. We've done our little turnaround. And then we're going to show you this motorhome inside and out. We're going to talk about some things. I heard a rumor that some big conglomerate bought out Newmar. We'll talk about that and what it means for the future and all that good stuff. And we'll show you this motorhome inside and out, if this light ever turns green. All right, we're rolling. So it doesn't take long to get up to speed in this. Again, speed limit's 55, so we're at 30 already. We're not holding up any traffic, and it's been a very smooth acceleration. I wouldn't have toppled any canned goods yet. There's 45. There's 50. There's 55 miles an hour. So I don't know how many seconds that was. Again, we're not going to win any races, but we're also not holding up traffic. And that's the really important thing. The Dutchstar comes with a 450 horse engine, which is 1,250 foot-pounds of torque. And that's a lot of torque. And torque is what makes these things go. So you'll appreciate that, especially in the mountains, especially if you're towing something. That horsepower and torque comes in really handy. Again, the big thing with motorhoming is try to be smooth. Smooth acceleration, smooth deceleration, smooth turns. If you're smooth, your guests will be happier. The contents of your cabinets and refrigerators will be happier. So red light, I've got the engine brake pulling me down again. There's 40 miles an hour. There's 30 miles an hour, and the light turned green, so I didn't even have to come all the way to a stop. Beautiful sunny fall day in Indianapolis, Indiana. I know a lot of times people tell me I forget to say where we're at. I just assume you know, and that's not fair. If you like our videos and like the way we do things, don't forget to like and subscribe to our page. That way you'll get notifications whenever we do one. By the way, we also never put ads in our videos. I know a lot of you people that watch YouTube, you're like me. You'll be getting interested in something, and then that darn little notification comes up that says ads starting soon, and it clicks away to the ad. Oh, that makes me angry. Obviously, we do our videos as a service. We do them to promote our coaches and ourselves. We do them to educate customers that are looking for more information out there. But we don't want to make money directly off of the videos. Now, hopefully somebody sees this and says, man, that is the Dutchstar I've been looking for, and calls me up, and we'll make you a very nice deal on a motorhome. But we're not going to put the advertising in the videos themselves. Now we're getting ready to turn back into the dealership here. This is a nice gradual turn. If I wanted to, I could follow this curb around because it's designed for motorhomes. But I'm not going to do that because I like to promote good habits. And good habits say I drive this coach straight a little further than I normally would, and then I turn this coach in. I never cross that yellow line. I missed the curb by 5 feet back there, and we're good to go. As we come in, depending on how quickly you folks are seeing this video, we're shooting this on October 1st actually, so it'll probably be up on the 2nd or 3rd. This building that we're looking at here for Mount Comfort RV will be leveled shortly, and our new building that's behind it that Toney will get a shot of is almost ready. I was in it yesterday. I'm very excited. It's a beautiful new facility, and we're really excited about that. All right, let's get this motorhome opened up. All right, Tony had a good idea before we open it all up, and I know people are like, oh, I want to see the inside. Don't get flustered. We're going to do a quick walk around on the outside. It's easier to do the outside while the slides are still in, so it actually makes more sense to do it this way. We're going to show you everything on the outside of this coach, and then we'll show you the inside, okay? I promise, we'll get there. In the doorway here, something I like to point out, it's hard to do from inside the coach, but I love these steps. First of all, this is all Corian and it's beautiful, but I love the storage in these steps, okay? And even a deeper spot up here. This is the step cover that comes out. You press a button, it comes out and comes up even with the floor here, so the passenger's feet aren't just dangling in the step well. So that's one thing we like to talk about here. The other thing is, on the storm door, this is open. On most coaches, there's a screen here. And that screen's fine. Obviously, it's wonderful to have a nice storm door. But when you're driving the coach, I don't like looking through a screen. And on most diesel pushers, quite frankly, you don't have a choice. The screen's there all the time. Check this out. We have a pull-down screen, so when I want a screen, I have a screen. When I don't, I don't. So nice little feature there. Sometimes it's the little things that make all the difference. We option this in with the stainless package, so this has all this white gets peeled off, and that's nice, shiny like the steps are, all the way around the coach. Makes them look like $1 million. We're going to leave that on there for now, even though I sometimes like to peel it off for the videos, but I'll tell you, it keeps it nice for the owner of this coach if we peel it right before they come get it. So that's what we're going to do here. These are aluminum wheels, so aluminum wheels actually dissipate heat a little better and look better, so that's a good thing. These are big boy tires up here on the front. These are 315 ADR 22.5s. That's a great big tire, and that is going to soften the ride a little bit going down the road, but as you saw, maneuverability isn't challenged at all. This coach is actually pretty darn maneuverable. Masterpiece finish all over the coach, the flush mount slide, so that they don't have that piece of plastic or fiberglass sitting here that just catches wind and water and makes noise and sometimes leaks. The slides being recessed back into the sidewall is just a better way of doing things. We have our keyless entry where we can lock and unlock the coach or the compartment doors. One press of the button here, you press in your code and then one press of the button, and all the compartment doors lock or unlock. How awesome is that? So you don't have to, oh, and a doorbell. You don't have to have your keys with you all the time on this coach. You can fill the fuel on this coach from either side. You can do it here or on the other side of the coach. So that makes life so much easier in the fuel station. I pull this out, most freezers stop here. This one comes all the way out here. Well, why would I want it way out there? Well, if the slide room was out, this will actually clear the slide. This is a refrigerator or a freezer, either one. It's just whatever setting you put it to. It either runs off regular electricity or 12 volts, depending on what it has available. So that makes life easy there. Our pull-out tray, we put a pull-out tray in this one, and this is one of those trays that goes out either side. Very smooth, very easy to work. So that's just a great way to get to those items that always seem to be in the middle. You have the option to do another tray right here on this coach. We didn't option it in. I don't usually option them in with two trays. The reason being is there's good points and bad points to the tray. The tray makes it easy to get the stuff out of the middle, but you also lose some height with the tray. So if you had taller items, you still have this compartment over here. All right, a few random items here. We have a random wand. This is for opening our window awnings. Over all of our main windows on this coach, we actually have little window awnings that pull out, and those are easy. They take 5 seconds per window to open up, so that's super easy. In this compartment, we have some random stuff laying around here. Well, these are extra floor tiles from the same batch, so if you ever dropped a skillet or something and cracked a tile in your coach, you have an exact matching tile or three there. These big steel rods, what are those? Well, those are Plan B. Plan B for the main slide room. If you ever press that button and something didn't happen right and it didn't come in, that's a manual way of bringing those slides in, so you won't just be stuck. It's no fun, don't get me wrong, and I've actually never had a customer have to do that with these slides, but Newmar does supply them to you just in case, okay? And then the third one, those are the attachments for your central vac. That's what's in that random plastic bag there. Come to this compartment, we have our TV. Now, a lot of times we'll have our TVs mounted up in the sidewall. Sometimes it's down low. It's kind of floor plan dependent. I can make an argument either way. If I'm tailgating, I'm standing out watching a Colts game and hanging around with friends, I kind of like it up on the sidewall because we'll be standing around with our favorite icy cold beverage in our hand. If I'm the more probably consistent scenario is if you're at a nice RV park somewhere and you're sitting out here, just the two of you or with some friends, and you're sitting down and you want to watch TV, actually being down low more near a chair height would be better. So like I said, make that argument either way depending on what you're doing. This does have the Bose soundbar on it. It is a pull out that will go either direction for great viewing, and there is an extra outlet down there so you can plug in your phone, charge it, whatever. Moving on back, this is a tag axle coach. Okay, so we have the extra axle here, and this is a steerable tag. Steerable tag just means that it follows you along. You don't actually have control of it with the steering wheel. It's like the front wheels on a shopping cart. When you go this way, those wheels go that way. So that's how it works, and it only works below a certain speed. So I think on Spartan it's below 40 or 45 miles an hour that the tag is actually steerable. And when you're above that, it locks itself in straight. Come back one more compartment here. We're going to have our DEF tank, that's diesel exhaust fluid. That can be filled from either side, by the way. This is our batteries for starting the chassis itself, and our battery disconnects here. If we put the coach in storage, we can kick those two breakers. So those batteries are responsible for starting of the engine, that type of thing. Speaking of engine, we have a 450 horse, as I mentioned earlier. This is a Cummins ISL engine. This is on the Spartan K2 Mountain Master chassis. That's what that means. We have 15,000 pounds of storing. What the heck? 15,000 pounds of towing with our hitch here. And then on the Spartan chassis, we actually get the air chuck on the back here for an Air Force One or an M&G braking system for your toad. That's for braking your toad. If you don't understand what that would be used for, give me a call and we'll break that down for you. But basically the motorhome half of it's already on there. You just have to get your toad equipped. Notice there's no ladder on the back of a Dutchstar. You know why? Ladders are ugly. There's lots of collapsible ladders out there that do a great job. When we get to the Dutchstar level, they're too pretty of a coach to ugly up with a ladder is what it really comes down to. Here's the secondary fill for the DEF. This is our sewer hose storage. It has its own little compartment for good reason. And it's a big enough compartment, you can fit a nice big sewer hose in there, not just your cheapo hose. Our water is on a power reel, as is our power cord on a power reel. And that's nice, you just don't have to find a tote to put those in, or certainly a 50 amp shore power cord can be fun to wrestle. You don't have to mess with those things, just hit a button and they retract. Whole house water filtration system. This is a insulated and heated compartment, so that's very important. Our floors across the Dutchstar are like this thick. Please compare that to any of the competitors to this out there. When they tell you how great their coach is insulated and their floor is this thick or this thick, the floor on this thing's like this thick. There's heat pumped into this area whenever your hydronic system is on, so if it does get cold, drops below freezing, I promise you the Newmar will be the last thing in the campground to freeze. Hot and cold water out here to clean up with, as well as a black tank rinse. Very clean, very well labeled. This is a 50-foot, 50-amp shore power cord. 50 foot's longer than most. Most of them come with 25 to 35-foot cords on them. That's actually a 50-footer, so that might save you from having to buy an extension cord. And this has a built-in surge protector, so if the power gets a spike or anything, it's going to protect your electronics. That's built into the coach. The Oasis system is our main source of heating the coach, although there's a couple other ways that we'll get into as well. But that's our main heat. And it does all of our water heating as well, and it is unlimited hot water. That runs off of either diesel fuel or electric, depending on what you have available. We've done separate videos on that, so if you search for the Mount Comfort RV video on hydronic heating, you're going to see an in-depth version of that. Here's that other tray that pulls out both sides. Well, same tray, but here's the other side of that tray. And then the batteries, the 8 main batteries for this coach are AGM batteries. Those are absorbed glass mat batteries. And those are maintenance free, and they're on a pull-out tray, which is wonderful.
Granny for Kellogg's cornflakes. What a word of wisdom for you kids. If you're a little guy like me, with lots of growing to do, who'd like to shoot up strong and tall, here's my advice to you. Tall up with the tall corn taste of Kellogg's Golden Flakes. It's corn that you can really crunch, corn that really packs a punch. Wait a minute. I think it's taken effect. All the American, tall American, Kellogg's cornflakes, tall up. Keep plenty of Kellogg's cornflakes on hand, kids, and you'll never get caught short. Ow! Randy sauce.
Okay, finally, we're inside this motorhome. This video has literally taken us longer to do than any other video. We just keep running into it was a comedy of errors first. Now it's just errors. So if it looks like maybe I have a different color shirt or different pants on, that's because there's been a couple of days go by while we were working out some technical difficulties. But here we are, we're inside. I'm going to give you the 30-second walk around on this just to kind of show you everything, and then we'll get into a little more detail. So first of all, in this 40/20 floor plan up front, the way we have this one optioned in is sofa. So this has quite a bit of sleeping in it. This makes down into like a jackknife style sofa bed over here. This is a full-blown hide-a-bed with an air mattress over here. These are storage ottomans. You can flip that over, make it into a little table. So lots of sleeping opportunities up front here. We do have the Euro dinette. This does not make a bed, but there is storage underneath. Come back into the kitchen area here with the 30-inch residential microwave area. This is a bath and a half floor plan, so our half bath is here across from the refrigerator. And this bathroom is mostly used when you're going down the road or as a guest bath. Does have a pantry here next to the refrigerator. Here in the bedroom, we have a king-size bed, 2 storage closets at the foot of the bed with a nice sized television in between. We come back into the full bathroom, and here we have a nice sized shower. Stackable washer dryer across from the shower would be here. Okay, and then your toilet, emergency egress door, sink with lots of countertop space. So there's your 30-second overview. If you've just been dying to see what's on the inside of this motorhome, there it is. Now we'll get into a little bit more detail on that. Okay, I thought I'd have a seat just before we get into tons of detail about this. Some of you may have heard this vicious rumor that Winnebago Industries actually purchased Newmar. Well, I am here to put those rumors to rest. Yeah, that's pretty much what happened. And I'll admit I was surprised by this as anybody else. I found out on the same day most of the rest of you did. I come in and somebody handed me a news release, and I did not see this coming. Quite frankly, I didn't know that Newmar had been shopping for a partner in that regard. But they had been, and there was more than one bidder at the table. And Winnebago Industries was the one that fit best with what Newmar wants to do as far as service going forward. So what's going to change? Well, truthfully, what we've been told is absolutely nothing. Now, having been a part of situations like that in the past, there usually are some changes that will happen years down the road, that type of thing. And nobody knows what those are at this point. I will tell you, Matt Miller and the rest of the executives at Newmar are still in place and will be going forward. Matt Miller is actually part of the Winnebago circle now, so he will be in that circle to protect the Newmar brand that his family's been building up for many years. And to give you an idea what motivates both parties here, from the Winnebago side, I got into this industry in the mid-2000s, and I can tell you way back then when I first got in, Winnebago was trying to get into the high-end diesel market. They made these coaches called Ultimate Freedoms and Ultimate Advantages that were really nice coaches. At that point, really American coach with the Fleetwood brand and Monaco and Holiday Rambler and Beaver, all the companies that were in the Monaco family, those were the companies that were dominating the RV industry on the high-end motorized side, and Winnebago wanted in. And they made the Ultimate Freedom and the Ultimate Advantage, and they were really good coaches structurally. From an amenity standpoint, things were well thought out, but they kind of missed it from the standpoint of the eyeball of the coach. How it looked compared to some of the other products that were out there was just a little bit off, and Winnebago's always kind of been known as, smaller than that. Either small Class A's or certainly Class C's that they've dominated in for years and years and years. They weren't really thought of as who you go to for the big, powerful diesel pusher. Those coaches never really took off, although if you see one out there in the marketplace, it's a good coach. Then you come forward and they had the Vectras and the Horizons and the Tours and Grand Tours, and these are all, again, very nice diesel pusher coaches, but they've never really gotten the traction. I think a lot of times they just haven't been able to capture it, in my opinion, mostly based on the look. The quality has been there. The company has always made a good product. They just can't quite break into this market. So they decided to do a little bit different strategy. They're going to buy the best motorhome manufacturer out there in Newmar. Now, you struggle for 15 plus years to get into the high-end diesel market. Why would you come in and change anything is the first thing that comes to my mind. Let Newmar be Newmar. They're a profitable company. They make a heck of a product. Their customers love them. So in that regard, I think they'll leave things alone. From the Newmar perspective, obviously they just built this huge, I don't know how many dollars, but I'm guessing in excess of $20 million easily in their service facility in Napanee. They want to have those same type of service capabilities on the West Coast as well, and that would be a huge cash outlay to do that out there. Well, with Newmar's backing, they can do that and take care of their customers better long term. Winnebago has always been one of the very best companies out there about parts availability, parts network, service. They've always been good at these things, and they've always been a real player in taking care of the customer. So that's why Newmar and Winnebago are a good match. Anybody that knows me going back 10 years, when I came in before I started selling Newmars, I was a huge proponent of the Winnebago product. I've been to the factory in Forest City, Iowa many times. I was a big proponent of the quality and the company itself of Winnebago Industries. I came over here to Mount Comfort RV and started selling the Newmars and fell in love with those. We tried Winnebago briefly on this lot. It was kind of a tricky thing to sell because we have Tiffin, which is a wonderful manufacturer. We have Newmar, which is a wonderful manufacturer, and we have Winnebago. Again, Winnebago never quite had the eyeball to stand toe-to-toe with those other brands, but because they're located in Forest City, Iowa, their pricing is higher than being built up in northern Indiana, where things are a little less expensive and all the suppliers are right there nearby. The Winnebagos always cost just as much as the Tiffins and the Newmars, and didn't quite have the eyeball for it. So there's a lot of reasons why this makes sense for both companies. I think it'll be a good thing in the long run, but like I said, I'm not going to lie to anybody. I was shocked when it happened. All right, let's take a good look at this coach. All right, here we go. Let's get in depth here. I already mentioned you have a sofa bed over here that opens up and the storage ottoman. So this kind of is a different idea than the two recliners. Now, you can order this floor plan with the two recliners here, or if you're really in love with this one, I could even modify this one for you and put the two recliners here. But the idea with the ottomans is that it kind of takes the place of that, but still gives you the sleeping. With the two recliners, obviously, you lose two sleeping spots. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about that. But with the two ottomans here, you can actually have kind of the same effect because we have the televator straight across from us here, so our viewing angles are perfect. You can, 2 or 3 people can sit there, have their feet up, and watch television of a night, and then this still has the capabilities of course, sleeping 2 people. The jackknife sofa over here can also fold down to sleep 2, albeit this is a little smaller bed than what you have with the hide-a-bed situation. By the way, I get this question a lot. Can both beds be opened at the same time? Yes, they can. So this coach would be rated to sleep 6 people. I'll say it'll sleep 5 adults very comfortably, 6 adults if these 2 are friendly. So that's where we're going there. Now, we do have storage down below the booth here. You'll have one of these under each booth, so that's good, great storage. Booths have come a long way, people. If you haven't tried a booth lately, before you say no to a booth, I would try this out. I get all the time, well, there's not enough room for me at the booth. Really? Okay, come on. I'm not a skinny guy. All right, there's plenty of room here. And the other complaint is, well, they're not comfortable. I got news for you. If you're going to tell me that a freestanding chair is more comfortable than this, I'm going to tell you you're wrong. This has inner springs underneath the seat cushion. It's very well padded in here. This is comfortable. You could sit on either one of these, and you have the ability to kind of sit sideways, be in the conversation place. So there's a lot going on here with the booth that I like. I am a fan of the booth. Again, if you wanted this with the buffet style dinette or a table and chairs, we can do all that. But like I said, before you say absolutely no to a booth, you might want to sit down in one and see if it fits you, because they fit me very well. All right, to speed this up a little bit, I've opened up all of the cabinets and drawers and all of that good stuff along here. I'm just going to let Toney kind of pan down. Notice the cabinets that he's doing now are actually all lined inside. The lining keeps things from sliding around and makes things quieter. Less rattles in the coach, so that's a big thing. Those doors all stand up on their own on that side. Those are all on struts, so it makes loading and unloading easier. When he comes over here to your kitchen cabinets, again, those are all lined. These are right above the kitchen sink. And then you can pan down and you're going to see all these drawers. Now all these drawers open up to this bottom link there, but I kind of have them staggered just so you can see all the amount, kind of see them all open at the same time there and see the different ways you can store things in the kitchen. Underneath the sink here, we have a wonderful trash can pull out there, which more manufacturers should do that. And then right back in here, there's a little spot. That's where you put your sink covers. I don't know if you can see those little slots down in there, but that's where your sink covers actually go, your Corian sink covers, so they don't get all dinged up. All right, come back a little further. We'll take a look at the refrigerator with the freezer down below. We do have water on the door and an ice maker in the freezer. All right, and then let's get a good shot of the pantry. I just opened one of these drawers, but there's actually 6 of them. These are adjustable in height. So you can adjust for your own cereal, soup cans, whatever. And that lights up when you open it. That's nice. New for 2020 is the lock. So you can do that so it doesn't come bouncing open on you going down the road. I like to leave them unlocked because otherwise people just start pulling harder instead of looking for the trick. Over here on this side, these cabinets, these are a little shallower. Now they could do deeper cabinets here, and some manufacturers do. But Winnebago's really, Winnebago, wow. I'm already doing it. See there? There's one in your pocket Winnebago. Newmar / Winnebago is really big on giving you big windows here. So they shrunk these cabinets up top just a little bit for the big window. And I think that's important on this floor plan because I like the dinette on this side. Most floor plans, the dinette is actually on the off-door side or the driver's side of the coach. We have a nice big window here. I would have it open if it was a really nice day, but we're actually parked inside our service building today, so you would just be seeing technicians working on things. But that's a nice size window there. You'll just have to take my word for it. We'll come over here. We have kind of the AV portion of the coach. That's your Blu-ray player. There's also plenty of room in there for a DVD or satellite receiver. We have our Bose sound system. Then another cabinet over here. Those remotes are actually for the window blinds. All the blinds in here are power. This coach also has a heated floor. We did option that in as well. And that's 3 zones. You have the living room zone, the bedroom zone, and the main rear bathroom zone. So that's a feature that a lot of people really like. It's not an inexpensive feature, but it's one that people really like. So that's nice. I believe we did also option in on this. Yes, this has the 360 camera as well. So when you're driving this, you can see all the way around you. I may have mentioned that in the test drive, but that's been days ago. When we started this video, it's been so long, we've been so long getting this video done, I had hair when we started this video. So our half bath, we'll let Toney get some shots and then I'll open up some cabinets and let him get some more shots. Definitely enough room in here. It's one of those situations where I'm not going to call it roomy because it's a small half bath. These cabinets above the toilet, I'm going to leave those closed so I can show you better the other cabinets. The ones above the toilet, all that's in there is your circuit breakers and your fuses, so it's not a lot of lot to view there. I guess the best way I could get out of the way here is maybe to sit down, but that just seems awkward to take the seat in here, so I'm not going to do that. And we do have 2 small cabinets down here as well. Those are just hard to get the shot on, but that'll give you the idea. Nice vessel sink. The towel holder's built in. You do have some countertop space here also. And when you're dealing with Newmar, one thing, this isn't some hollow core door. This door weighs like 40 pounds. I mean, you can tell when you grab a hold of it, that's substantial. And the high gloss looks wonderful on there. Going into the bedroom, if we wanted to make this private, we can just pull this. This is a double pocket door. Okay, it locks in place if it's all the way open or all the way closed. You don't even really have to do anything. It locks itself. This is the king sleep number bed. There are outlets on both sides of the bed, so you can plug in anything from your alarm clock. Hopefully you're not using an alarm clock. Cell phone, that type of thing. Now we also have this. This is set up for the CPAP machine up above. might be tricky to get, but there's an outlet in there. And then there's little holes up in here on the bottom side where you can run the hoses down through. So this is all prepped for, there's more and more people these days using the CPAP machines. This coach has you in mind. At the foot of the bed, we have two nice closets here. We'll just do the one. The other one looks just like that. Okay. A nice Samsung television, some good countertop space here. And then we have 5 drawers that match this. And then this one over here, the top one, this is actually an AV cabinet for your bedroom TV. This coach does have an in-motion satellite on it, so all you have to do, you can do direct or dish network with that. All you have to do is bring the satellite receiver and we'll hook it up for you. That's easy enough. As we go back into the rear bathroom, we want to get some shots here. There's another wardrobe here, so we have the 2 wardrobes in the bedroom and then a nice wardrobe here. This has the safe built in as well. And then we option this in with the stackable washer dryer. Now, a person could option the washer dryer completely out and have more hanging space. I've had people do that. Or you can option the combination washer dryer. A lot of people aren't real fond of that one, but some people love it. So you could do that in the bottom and then still have hanging space at the top. Kind of all options are on the table here. 2 drawers like this one. We have 3 pull-out drawers on the right-hand side like this. Okay, storage underneath. Actually, 6 drawers. I said 3. There's 3 more over here. This little spot in the floor that you see there, that's a cutout if anybody ever needed to get to the top of the engine. That's how it would be accessed. I'll tell you, most people never have to do things like that. So change the oil on this, keep a good air filter in it, change your filters. It'll go down the road. You don't have to worry about that. All right, we've come to the punishment phase of the video. We'll be right back. All right, Tony's punishment. He has to demo the shower with me. He wasn't fond of this idea at all. He's not a happy man. But this is a really big shower now for the 4020. It used to have the little, when it was a 4002, it had that little neo angle shower. Tony and I could have never fit in there. We probably wouldn't have tried, but he did have to demo the shower with me. There's room. We could actually both, kind of spin in here. It's a little tight with 2 people, but for one, it's going to be great. Just wanted you to know that this is out there. I hope you like the shower. Okay, here's the shower without the 2 idiots in it. If it looked a little funny there, we had to shoot that shot bouncing it off a mirror in the bathroom, so we had to get creative with that one. So there's a good shot of the shower. It really is a nice size shower. The toilet has been relocated in this floor plan to the back wall, which actually makes the egress door that much easier to get into or out of, I guess would be the proper terminology there. So it really opened this up. This bathroom changed tremendously. I suppose it's a little tighter as you come through here, but it's not tight. I mean, there's room here. There's room to stand there, brush your teeth, brush your hair. Okay, probably not me and Tony, but still plenty of room in here. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed this tour of the 2020 Dutchstar 4020 floor plan. Like I said, this video was quite the adventure. Normally, Tony and I don't do a lot. We don't do any scripting. If we get a crazy idea, we might talk about that or something ahead of time. But this video just had its challenges, so we hope you've enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe to our page. We really want to keep bringing you these videos. So let us know if there's any improvements we can make. You have suggestions. We take constructive criticism well. If you be nice, we'll be nice. If not, Tony gets ugly on there. His comments, man, they're dangerous sometimes. Thanks for watching. We'll be back next week probably with another new video.